This is an open meeting under section 19.81 to 19.98 of the Wisconsin State Statutes. You have the February meeting minutes in front of you. Any need for corrections? Being none, I'd look for a motion to approve.
A motion to approve.
Motion by Joel,
Second.
second by John. All in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Those minutes are approved. Monthly staff reports.
Yes, numbers fluctuate a little bit for January from this past year, from the previous year. Preschool numbers were down a little bit. Youth sports were up by about 100. Youth activities, again, slightly down. Adult and sports and activities are pretty much even there. As Joe pointed out previously, we had quite a jump for pickleball by almost 100. Staff did add more pickleball times this year, times and dates, than we had the previous year. But obviously that still continues to be a strong sport for us. Adult fitness was down quite a bit. I know one of our more popular instructors is no longer with us. That no doubt had a big reasoning for that. And usually when you have a good instructor, they have a good following, and more times than not, someone will sign up not necessarily for the activity, but for said instructor. Miscellaneous was down as well. Signacast numbers went down a little bit, but our memberships sold kind of leveled off a little bit. We were still down about 13 for residents, but the non-residents held steady. And about a year ago is when our competition really started taking hold on that, so that should be leveling off a little bit. If not, I would like to see a little improvement, of course. One other thing I'll mention, I'll point out the golf simulator under the miscellaneous number there. We had 47 rentals for a total of 69 hours. I want to say that was a jump of about, I think we were in the low 30s for December. So I was not surprised to see that number, and it's held steady. I don't know if Zach can comment on it. Zach does the majority of our check-ins with the rentals, but usually one, if not two a day on a regular basis, Zach.
Yeah, we're getting about one or two consistently. Some days as many as 5 on those busy days, but I know it really depends on the weather, and we're starting to gain more people coming in, and that's the biggest thing. We've had a lot of people come back multiple times, and now we have our regulars now, and they come pretty consistently every week, so it's just a matter of bringing in new people to do the same thing. That's going to be our next step.
And we will look to do a price break in our summer book, so between the summer holidays, we'll probably do a $10 off. So instead of 30 and 40, we'll do 20 and 30 for resident and non-resident.
Any other questions or anything for Randy or staff? Randy, do you have any sense for why the silver sneakers numbers are down?
I don't. I don't know if staff has anything to say. Yeah, I don't have anything specific. Zach?
I know there were some changes with which insurances were covered under Silver Sneakers and Renew, so that could have had an impact on it. I know that changed in January at the turn of the year, so that could have had an impact. I know we lost a couple people due to that, but other than that, our instructors are the same, so I'm not too sure.
I wanted to hear it from you, but that is the case. One of my Medicare supplement providers ceased to continue offering the fitness benefit. So I was curious to see what impact that was going to have here. I don't remember seeing anything significant last month, but it's showing up this month. Anything else for staff, guys?
Just wanted to mention to thank you for running the Snowden at the movies. I know that's popular with our high school kids, and I know we have a bunch of our students that are involved in the Special Olympic activities that you guys run with that big basketball tournament a couple weekends ago. It's just outstanding stuff, so great to see those programs going.
Thanks, Scott.
All right, any communication or correspondence come in, Randy?
None.
And no appearances or public comments, no old business. Under new business administration, we have a recommendation to approve contracting with MSA for the comprehensive outdoor recreation plan.
Yes, so you have the executive summary in your packet there. The 24 CIP budget included our core plan, which I did kind of give you a heads up on that last month. This went out for RFP. We did have 3 firms submit proposals with MSA, Professional Services, Rutler Corporation, and Vanderwall and Associates had all submitted proposals. The approved budget for our corp was $20,000. And with that, staff is recommending MSA Professionals with their proposal for $19,145 within budget. Their base offer was, I believe, $16,500. We did an added pop-up event option, to which I will talk about that a little later on the agenda here. But I had a specific event I wanted them attending. So that they would be able to get input from the public. So that was an added cost. MSA has, in the past, experience with the city of Hartford. They, of course, designed the Centennial Park Mill Pond bulkhead wall replacement, and then they also designed the pavilion in Centennial Park as well as other projects with the city of Hartford, and they were also the last to update our core plan. I will mention I did really like Vanderwall and Associates. They were slightly more expensive. They would have been, I think, $75 over budget, and I had previously worked with them in Watertown, so I'll give them a little shout out. But I would hope they would bid again in 5 years when we do this. And you know, it's not a bad thing to get a different firm to come in and give a fresh look, a fresh take on things. But at this point, with where we are as a city and quite honestly, my place in this position, I was more comfortable sticking with MSA at this point.
Any questions on the executive summary, guys? Any comments? Any motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Ken to approve staff's recommendation.
Second.
Second by Kate. Any other comments or discussion? All in favor of approval of staff's recommendation, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. And Centennial Park grand opening.
So you didn't have to wait long to figure out what event I was talking about. So we're starting the process of advertising Centennial Park's grand opening. Will be Friday night, May 3rd. Traditionally, the first weekend of May is our opening of our parks. So I wanted it to coincide with that. I know I've spoken with many of you about that. Again, the event will be on Friday night, May 3rd from 5:30 to 8:30. You all can expect an invite to the event itself. So like I said, 5:30 to 8:30, there'll be a short ribbon cutting ceremony at 6 o'clock. I'll say a few words. I'm sure Steve Volkert may want to speak. I hope to get Mayor Mahalik in attendance and have him say a few words as well. Also included with the event, we'll have Brewed Omen on site, so they'll be serving beverages. The barbecue company out of Erin will have a food truck on site. And then for musical entertainment, we'll have a duo from the band Wait for Morning that will be performing that night. So again, that'll be 5:30 to 8:30 It'll appear in our summer program guide. We'll do a Facebook event for it as well, to make sure people know. So we'll really be pushing that event. We're excited about it. We plan to mimic this style of event 2 more times in the summer. Beverages, food truck, one time in June and another time in August.
And band?
And we'll have, yes, entertainment as well. Thank you, Ken. So if there's interested folks in that, they can reach out to me. I have not set any of those amenities for those events yet, but I do have a list and businesses I would like to reach out to for that as well. So, and of course, we hope to have MSA there doing their outreach. So that'll be the added pop-up event. Again, could have had them at any of the 3, but I think it's safe to say that I feel this one will be the most attended. Again, all I need is good weather. So if any of you guys can help me out with that, that would be great.
All right, under rec programs and activities, we'll talk about Stuck at the Movies, which I believe was February 19th.
Yep. So, Stuck at the Movies was on February 19th. And we kind of thought originally it was going to be kind of a poor lineup. So we had 4 different movies being played. We had Wonka that had been out a while, Migration been out a while, and then Madame Web and Argyle, 2 newer movies. We actually had a total of 76 kids come, so we actually had 56 sign up even before the day of, which was really big compared to the year before. 20 of them show up day of. So it actually turned out to be a really good turnout for what we were anticipating, and we were really happy about that. Schubert's Theater is always fun to work with. They're easy to work with, and it's always great to have that as an option for those middle schoolers during a day off.
And I'll give Mel a shout out. This is her second time doing some of these events, and she really has a firm handle on it, and she does a really good job. And I'm excited to see her go through things a third time and see what changes and adjustments she's able to make. But I just wanted to put that out there that she's doing a good job with these events.
Nice job, Mel. And an update on our preschool instructor opening with Tots Little.
So our Tots Little teacher, she ended up leaving in the middle of February. So we have been in a search for a new preschool teacher. For this school year, which goes until May 2nd, we did find a consistent way to make sure that the same teacher is teaching the same classes. But we really are focusing on finding a new preschool teacher, especially for the start of the fall. So by September, if not this summer. So we are on the search for that, and hopefully we can get some people in the door.
Yeah, the main thing now is that we had a couple sub situations. Mel leading the interview process. We did reach out and had a couple of interviews, but we didn't have anything that worked out. It's important with kids that age that we have consistencies, and it's not even the kids, it's the families too, having the parents feel comfortable. We don't want someone new in there every day with kids at 3 and 4 years old. So it was important that we had that consistency, and Mel's actually stepped up and she's doing a couple of classes herself, and she does a good job with that. She gets personal practice with that nowadays. But yeah, we are evaluating the wage on that and the time we offer up. We did some research with similar programs in Oconomowoc, Germantown, Jackson. We all looked at to see what they're paying their staff and how their program matches up to us. And we were behind in the wage, so we're going to look to. We're not going to match them, but we want to get it closer into an hourly output that I think is more competitive.
Randy, is that a part-time role?
It is. So in the past, we've had it where we've split it up. Most recently, we've had one person do it, so the classes run Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Thursday, and there's 2 sessions each of those days for roughly hour and 45.
Yeah, it's an hour 45 class. Essentially, I say 8 to 12:30 is usually the hours with setup and prep and takedown and cleanup, so about 8 to 12:30.
Yeah, so we give daily prep time, and then we give off-season prep time as well. I think it's up to 3 weeks. It's 2 or 3 weeks we pay. And as
Something like that.
any teacher will tell you, they always put in a little more than they get compensated for, and we kind of operate with that understanding too, but.
So
and
the
there's-
hours, is that like 20 hours a week then? Does that sound right? Or-
I think right around there.
Yeah, right around. a little- I think it's a
2025,
little
and there's
more,
always opportunities to do more, because we do the preschool specials. I know Mel sets up, on average, like one a month. And there's other activities that if an instructor wants to do our Friday programs that we have. So there are opportunities to add more time to that. And then I always throw in there, hey, if you want to work nights and weekends, we always need building staff, desk staff.
And that's paid hourly?
And that's all paid hourly, yes.
Okay.
You got someone interested?
No, well, we're in a forum here, maybe there's someone who's
Absolutely.
interested in that, so.
No, great questions.
It's good they know the parameters, and, you know, hopefully there's someone out there looking for something like that. They don't wanna work full-time, but they,
Yeah.
you know, maybe a teacher that's just had kids or something like that, so, you know, hopefully somebody sees, you know, the opportunity that exists there.
Yeah, no, thank you for guiding us on it. I know my wife would love to do it, but I won't let her. I need more out of her, so.
On the next topic. Adult and youth sports, we have staff reports on youth ball registration.
So youth brawl registration just officially closed this last Monday, March 4th. We have 302 kids signed up throughout the 11 leagues that we run. We still do take registrations with a small late fee until those numbers are full. So we are taking some wait lists and things like that if anyone's interested in all of that. The older kids do have, I think, all but 2 teams to have wait lists, which is great. Just need a little bit more to make a second team. So you never know, it might happen, but unfortunately, it does look like our fast pitch 12-14 may not be able to run, but we are looking into what we can do for getting that going. But all the other ones are going to be a go and having some pretty good numbers.
All right, and then archery lessons.
So the newest session starts tonight in about half hour. So Alden is still being the archery instructor for us. We have 10 in the younger group, which always seems to be pretty popular, and then 6 signed up for the older group, which is a pretty good turnout considering those have been a little bit lower, but Alden's been enjoying coming back to teach those lessons.
And report on the adult volleyball spring league.
So our adult volleyball league actually filled up very quickly in the spring. Lauren's been telling me how it's been kind of rare that it's been that fast. She even had to turn a team away since we filled up completely. So we only take 16 teams just because of how our time slots are. We ended up having 6 A-League and 10 B-League. So all time slots are filled. The B-League ended up having to go 9 weeks, the A-Team 8 weeks. So there's kind of that. But yeah, we're actually turning someone away, so we might have to look into what we can do about that in the future.
Yeah, usually I always ask myself, is there any way we can provide this for someone? Spring League is a little different, where there's only so many weeks we can have, namely because once you get past April into May, and even sometimes at the end of April, outdoor leagues will begin, and teams are focused on that. So it really was a window. In a perfect world, we give people off for spring break, and then give us a little bit of a buffer too, because of if a weather situation comes up yet, to be able to make it up, and just give ourselves flexibility, because sometimes teams can't make a certain night for whatever reason. It's always nice to have that availability too. So if at all possible, it's a rarity that we would turn someone away, but in this situation, it was a good position for us that we were able to fill. And like Mel said, it's been a while since we've done that with our spring volleyball leagues.
All right, under aquatics, we have a report on vets. summer staffing.
Yeah, so we're looking good on summer staff as of now. I think in a previous month, I've mentioned that we only have 5 staff not returning on our lifeguard staff. So that's very rare to retain that amount of lifeguards. Right now at the high school, there's a lifeguard class going on. There's about 18 kids in there. It's looking like we'll get 5 to 7 of them who want to join our staff. So pretty good numbers there. That should fill those 5 extra slots. I'll also be running a class in April, which should get about 10 from there too. So we're gonna be above our threshold from last year, which was already a great number. A lot of our returning staff is looking for that 40-hour-a-week number. So we shouldn't have any holes in the schedule. All features should be open, based on those numbers, so it's looking good there. Only positions we're really looking to fill are admissions and concessions. We have quite a few coming back for that too, so it's only a couple spots that we're gonna need to fill there. Swim instructors, we're always looking for more swim instructors so we can offer more classes. But it's looking like we'll be able to offer a very similar amount of classes as we did last summer. And then managers, we're still trying to figure out who we're having back this year. I know a couple of them are still figuring out, because they're college kids, they're trying to figure out internships, stuff like that. So that'll get shored up here in the next month or so, and then probably early April I'll start getting availability from them all and finalizing interviews for those open spots, and then we'll go from there. But it's looking good.
Excellent. And an update on the pool heater.
So that was, again, one of our 24 CIP projects. The 3 old heaters were removed last week. Removed, demoed. Both main pool boilers are on site and are currently being mounted. Working on the circulation pumps and welding, and also working on the circulation pumps, excuse me there. Still waiting on the controls and the heat exchangers. Those have not come in yet. Jane H is doing the work for us. So honestly, we're ahead of where we were hoping to be, which is always a good thing. But then again, we'll need to wait on those controls and heat exchangers to see when those will come in. You know, obviously that could delay things, but our goal was to have the heater completely installed by the 2nd week of April. Right now, we're hoping that we could possibly be done by the beginning of April, which would be great. So that's what we're hoping for.
Question.
Yes.
I think I might have asked this before. Is that the lifespan typically is only about 8 years on those?
It was on the previous heaters that we had. This one we expect to last probably a good 20 years.
Okay. And we all 3 of them, so the smaller one and then the 2
So
larger ones, all 3 are gone?
All 3 are gone and
Okay.
replaced with this new one, and this one is high efficiency. So we're excited to see what we'll be saving on our utility costs with this one as well.
I know, that smaller one was older than 8. That might have been
There was
like
one-
10.
One of the heaters was,
We used it at the old pool.
yes, correct. You just wanted to show off how smart you were.
No, that just proves how old I am.
Well, I was here too, so,
You weren't teaching in the pool,
no,
though.
I wasn't.
Yeah.
Well, you weren't teaching me, so,
Touche.
okay, well, I'm just trying to say.
Thank you.
Anyway, moving
Thank
along.
you.
Moving on. Report on Signacast and the swim lessons.
Yeah, so this week we're finalizing that winter spring session 1. Classes progressed pretty good this session. Looking at the progress reports so far, pretty good pass-fail numbers. So next session starts next week on Monday, and we have the same Monday, Wednesday, Saturday class schedule as in past sessions. So good numbers. We just opened up some spots on wait list. Sarah's currently working on filling those because we had a aide for a class for each of the 3 days. So we're adding 2 kids to each time slot, so that should fill some of those wait list kids too. So looking good.
And a CIP update on the slide and the stairs.
So yes, the replacement of the slide tower, we had a pre-bid meeting yesterday. There's a couple of companies that are interested in doing the work. And we'll have a bid opening scheduled for the week of March 18th. Like I said, we had a couple of contractors that are interested. One is showing more interest than the other, so we've been working closely with them. And we're planning on having this work done during our August shutdown, so time is of the essence to making sure we can get someone in there, making sure they can fit within our time frame. Now, a normal shutdown in August is only about 3 weeks. Last year, with all the CIP projects, we closed for the whole month. We're planning on doing that again this year. I agree with the contractor we've been talking with, working around the slide. They're looking at having someone sub out to come in and take the slide down as they'll be working above it. They don't want to be responsible for something dropping and falling on it. So that's underway as well.
All right, and then under parks and staff reports, we have the park project report.
Yes, with the nice weather we've been having, we've been getting, knocking out a lot of stuff. Tree trimming and removals, we continue with that. We actually like frozen weather for that, but we've been able to do what we've been able to do with that. We did have the staff remove the horseshoe pits from Willowbrook Park. They were not in good condition. To my knowledge, they weren't being used very much, if at all. We still have the horseshoe pits that we'll continue to maintain at Woodlawn. And then this will open up other opportunities. I've actually been talking to Sarah about possible future Special Olympics sport in that area. More to come on that. We did demo and remove the old shelter that was stored at Indy. I think we talked about that last month, and that must have lit a fire under Brian. I guess he was done talking about it, so we got that taken care of. At Centennial Park, within the shelter, we set up the folding tables and chairs. We did that for a photo op, so we've kind of left that up so that people that come by can kind of see what you can fit in there. Right now, it's set up for over 50 people could fit in there, and I would say they can fit in there rather comfortably with the shelter enclosed. So you can imagine how many more people you can have once the shelter's opened up with the two overhead doors. We've also had the picnic tables placed out there, so I know we had some donors that were asking about that. We don't specifically put their names on it, but there's 8 new tables out there. We have some of them on the performance stage, and staff took it upon themselves to place a couple others throughout the park. They found some good spots. Then also the open shelter as well. We were able to do some kiosk repairs and some removal throughout our park system. There's one on Main Street that I know VBH utilizes. We replaced the roof on that one. VBH also utilizes the one on the bridge, near the bridge in Willowbrook Park. So that one was fixed. There was one close to the large shelter at Woodlawn that was removed. We were not utilizing it, and it was in bad condition, so we were able to do that. We also repaired, there's a small well building, repaired and replaced the roof on that in Willowbrook Park as well. 2 things that weren't on your list that you'll notice that I'll knock out right away here. Actually, just one thing is the backstop, or the hit back wall at Willowbrook Park. If you remember correctly, I was working on a grant for that. We did receive, it's a backhoe hit back. So we removed the old hit back and just finished installing the new boards today. There's some more work to be done above it. We have a gap where we're gonna get, we have to fill that in. The one thing we noticed is with so many layers of lumber that we had there, and there's I-beams behind there that support it. So the basketball hoop is connected to one of those I-beams. Now with all that wood removed, the I-beam's a little more free, so that hoop has a lot more play to it, and we're afraid of someone coming in, dunking, messing around, whatever, and what adverse effects that'll have on the new hit back wall. So staff brought that to my attention today. The facility is closed, but I had them remove the rim until we can put a plan together and figure out what we can do there. Staff was recommending, hey, let's just lose the hoop entirely. I would rather not do that. Yes, we still have 2 full courts down there, but that's a nice little mini court. I have fond memories because that was the only court down there when I played as a kid. So we'll be working through that as well.
Any questions on the park project? All right. The Centennial Park Fishing Pier.
So this was one of the major aspects of, or the lone major aspect of Centennial that hasn't been completed yet. A fishing pier was part of the project. We finally have a pier that will be adequate for the park. This will come from Pier and Waterfront Solutions out of Sturgeon Bay. The initial plan was to have one that was removable, and it would be stored in the green space to the east of the playground and to the west of the open shelter. To be removable just because of the water flow that we do have through the mill pond. We found a company that was able to, and the reason we couldn't do that is removing over the riprap was a concern, damaging it. How do we get it above it? We don't have the equipment for that. So the new contractor was able to find one that can stay permanently in the water without any concerns. There's a photo of it there in your packets. This one will have a walkway that'll go, forgive me, I don't remember whether it goes above the riprap or through the riprap, but that'll be permanent. And so the other nice thing is we're saving staff time from having to put it in and remove it every year. And then also it opens up the park with our mild winters that we don't have it sitting up in the green space. So there's 2 benefits to having that in the water year round. The walkway itself will be 5 by 20 feet long, 5 feet wide, 20 feet long, and then the pier itself will be 10 by 20. And then the total cost will be $55,500, which we do have budgeted for and is actually a little less than what we had for that. And that'll all be for delivery, creation, and installation of the pier.
Randy, you gave us 3,
Yes,
a picture of 3 materials.
correct. So I had to choose what the material would be. Personally, I did like the one on the left, the brown one that kind of had the wood pattern, the one on the right as well. We went with the middle pattern just because it had the best grip, if you would. Yes, traction, thank you. The other ones I felt would be a little too slippery. My one concern with the middle one is those will also hold on to dirt and grime a little better, mold and mildew if it comes to it. But the benefits of having that being grippy as opposed to having someone have an accident, slip, fall, get injured, that certainly outweighed that. So thank you, Todd, for pointing that out.
All right, so we don't need, we
Don't need
take
anything,
any
that's just,
action.
yeah, that's just an update, it's a done deal, that's happening.
And I'm sorry, Randy.
Yeah.
And when do you see this going in, or is it supposed to go in?
It should be in prior to the grand opening.
Oh, okay, so just before. so
Yep.
In April sometime.
So, yeah, John Griffin, city engineer, has been heading that up for us, kind of leading the way on that. So he's done a lot of the legwork to get us to that point, so, yeah.
That brings us to commission requests. Anything you want to talk about tonight? Anything you'd like to see improved or picked up?
Doorknobs, hanging branches, nothing over there?
Not yet,
We're doing okay?
yep.
No, we're not doing so well there.
Your TVs in the rec center? 2 remotes. 2 TVs.
All right, I'll look for a motion to adjourn then.
I'll make a motion, Todd.
Motion by Ken.
Second.
Who had it? By Dan. All in favor of adjournment, say aye. Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.